The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Galactic Empire's scout ship, the Zephyr. Its sleek, silver hull gleamed in the light of distant stars as it approached a small blue planet in a remote corner of the galaxy. Captain Vex 7, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stood on the bridge, his large eyes fixed on the main screen. "Scan complete, Captain," chirped the ship's eye. "Planet designation: Earth. Inhabited by a species known as humans." Vex 7 nodded, his antennae twitching with interest. "What's their technological level?" "Primitive, sir," the AI responded. "They've only recently achieved basic space travel within their own solar system." A smirk spread across Vex 7's face. "Perfect. Another easy conquest for the Empire." In the corner of the bridge, a young scout named Zar X9 frowned. Unlike the others, he had a strange feeling about this planet. Something didn't add up. He stepped forward, clearing his throat nervously. "Captain, if I may," he began. Vex 7 turned, eyeing the young scout with mild annoyance. "What is it, Zar X9?" "Sir, I've been studying the data, and there's something odd about these humans," Zar X9 said, his voice gaining confidence. "Their technological progress over the last century has been unprecedented." The captain scoffed. "They're still centuries behind us, Scout. What's your point?" Zar X9 pulled up a holographic display, showing a timeline of human history. "Look at this, sir. From horse-drawn carriages to moon landings in less than 100 years. It's not normal." Vex 7 waved a dismissive hand. "Irrelevant. Prepare the report for High Command. We'll add this Earth to our list of easy targets." As the captain turned away, Zar X9 felt a knot of unease in his stomach. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were underestimating these humans. Days later, the Galactic Empire's High Command received the report. The Emperor, a massive tentacled being named Sorkraz, listened as his advisors discussed the newfound planet. "Another primitive world, ripe for conquest," one advisor said, his mandibles clicking excitedly. "Indeed," another agreed. "We should send a small force to subdue them quickly." The Emperor raised a tentacle, silencing the room. "What of their defenses?" he asked, his voice a low rumble. The chief military advisor, General Krill, stepped forward. "Negligible, Your Highness. Their weapons are crude, and their space presence is minimal. A single battlecruiser could likely conquer the entire planet." Sorkraz nodded slowly, his eyes glowing with satisfaction. "Very well. Prepare an ultimatum. We'll give these humans the chance to join our empire peacefully. If they refuse, we'll make an example of them." As the meeting adjourned, a young aide approached General Krill. It was Zar X9, recently promoted for his keen observations. "General," Zar X9 said, bowing low, "I have concerns about the humans. There's something different about them." Krill looked down at the young aide, amusement in his eyes. "Oh, and what might that be?" Zar X9 took a deep breath. "Their adaptability, sir. The rate at which they progress. I fear we may be underestimating them." The general laughed. A harsh, grating sound. "Young one, we have conquered thousands of worlds. These humans are no different. Your concerns are noted, but unnecessary." As Zar X9 watched the general walk away, he couldn't help but feel a sense of impending doom. He looked out a nearby viewport at the stars, wondering what secrets Earth held. Little did the Galactic Empire know. Their actions had not gone unnoticed. Deep in an underground bunker on Earth, a group of scientists and military personnel huddled around a computer screen. "They're here," whispered Dr. Sarah Chen, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. "The aliens we've been preparing for." General Marcus Stone nodded grimly. "Then it's time. Initiate Project Phoenix. We'll show these aliens that humanity is not to be trifled with." As alarms began to blare and personnel rushed to their stations, a new chapter in human history was about to unfold. The Galactic Empire's first war with humans was on the horizon, and Earth was ready to fight. The massive Galactic Empire ship, the Dominator, hung in Earth's orbit like a looming storm cloud. Its dark, jagged shape blocked out the stars, casting a shadow of fear across the planet below. On the bridge, Ambassador Kroll-X adjusted his ceremonial robes. His green, scaly skin glistened under the ship's lights as he prepared to deliver the Empire's message. "Are the human leaders ready to receive us?" Kroll-X asked, his voice a low hiss. A subordinate nodded. "Yes, Ambassador. They've gathered at their United Nations headquarters." Kroll-X smiled, revealing rows of sharp teeth. "Excellent. Let's introduce ourselves." In New York City, the United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with tension. World leaders from every nation sat in anxious silence, their eyes fixed on the large screen at the front of the room. Suddenly, the screen flickered to life. Ambassador Kroll-X's alien face filled the display, causing gasps and murmurs to ripple through the crowd. "People of Earth," Kroll-X began, his voice booming through the speakers, "I am Ambassador Kroll-X of the Galactic Empire. We have come to offer you a choice." In the back of the hall, U.S. President Emily Rodriguez clenched her fists, her knuckles turning white. Next to her, Russian President Alexei Volkov leaned in, whispering, "We knew this day would come. Are we ready?" President Rodriguez nodded slightly, her eyes never leaving the screen. Kroll-X continued, "Your planet now stands at a crossroads. You may choose to join our glorious empire, benefiting from our advanced technology and protection. Or," he paused for effect, "you may choose resistance, which will result in your complete annihilation." The hall erupted in chaos. Shouts of anger and cries of fear filled the air. Ambassador Kroll-X waited patiently for the noise to subside, a smug smile on his face. "You have 24 Earth hours to decide," he said finally. "Choose wisely." The screen went black. As panic spread through the assembly, President Rodriguez stood up, her voice cutting through the noise. "Everyone, please, we need to stay calm and united." Gradually, the room quieted. Rodriguez looked around at her fellow leaders, her gaze steady and determined. "We've prepared for this moment. It's time to initiate our global defense plan." Meanwhile, in a secret underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Sarah Chen worked feverishly at her computer. Streams of data flowed across multiple screens as she fine-tuned the core systems of Project Phoenix. General Marcus Stone burst into the lab, his face grim. "Dr. Chen, you've heard the news." Sarah nodded without looking up from her work. "Yes, General. The aliens have made their move. How long do we have?" "Less than 24 hours, Stone replied. "Please tell me Project Phoenix is ready." Sarah finally turned to face him, her eyes reflecting a mix of excitement and fear. "It's as ready as it'll ever be. Our planetary shield should be able to repel their initial attack, and our reverse-engineered weapons are primed for action." Stone let out a relieved sigh. "Good work, Doctor. I'll inform the President." As world leaders debated their response in New York, and scientists and military personnel prepared for war, ordinary citizens around the globe reacted to the shocking news. In Tokyo, people crowded the streets, their eyes fixed on massive screens displaying the alien ultimatum. In Rio de Janeiro, crowds gathered on the beaches, some praying, others arguing about the best course of action. In Cairo, families huddled around radios, listening intently to emergency broadcasts. Back on the Dominator, Ambassador Kroll-X received an unexpected visitor. Tsar X9, now serving as a junior diplomat, requested an audience. "Ambassador," Tsar X9 began hesitantly, "I fear we may be underestimating these humans. Their history suggests they don't respond well to ultimatums." Kroll-X laughed dismissively. "Your concerns are noted, young one. But remember, we have conquered thousands of worlds. These humans are no different." As Tsar X9 left the ambassador's quarters, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were making a grave mistake. The next 24 hours would determine the fate of humanity. As the deadline approached, Earth stood united as never before, ready to show the Galactic Empire that humans were not to be trifled with. The stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a vast underground complex known as the Hive, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a group of world leaders. Her eyes gleamed with a mix of excitement and nervousness as she prepared to reveal humanity's greatest technological achievement. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice echoing in the cavernous room, "I present to you Project Phoenix." With a dramatic flourish, Sarah pressed a button on her tablet. A holographic display sprang to life in the center of the room, showing a complex network of satellites orbiting the Earth. "This," she explained, pointing to the display, "is our planetary defense system, but it's much more than just a shield." The leaders leaned forward, their faces a mix of awe and hope. U.S. President Rodriguez spoke up. "How does it work, Dr. Chen?" Sarah smiled. "It's based on a revolutionary technology we call quantum entanglement disruption. In simple terms, it can neutralize any energy-based weapon the aliens might use against us." A murmur of excitement rippled through the room. Russian President Volkov stood up, his eyes wide. "You mean to say we can render their weapons useless?" "Not just their weapons," Sarah replied, her smile growing wider. "We can disrupt their ship systems too. Engines, life support, everything." The room erupted in cheers and applause. For the first time since the alien ultimatum, hope loomed in the hearts of Earth's leaders. Meanwhile, aboard the Dominator, Ambassador Kroll-X paced nervously. The deadline had passed, and Earth had not responded to the ultimatum. He turned to his communication officer. "Any word from the humans?" The officer shook his head. "Nothing, sir." Complete silence. Kroll-X's face twisted in anger. "Very well. Prepare the attack fleet. We'll show these primitives the might of the Galactic Empire." As the alien ships began to move into attack position, activity in the Hive reached a fever pitch. Military personnel rushed back and forth, preparing for the impending battle. In the center of it all stood General Marcus Stone, barking orders and coordinating Earth's defenses. "Dr. Chen," he called out, "we need Project Phoenix online now." Sarah's fingers flew over her control panel. "Initiating startup sequence," she announced. "Planetary shield coming online in 3, 2, 1. Around the Earth, thousands of satellites simultaneously activated. A faint, shimmering field began to envelop the planet, invisible to the naked eye, but detectable on every sensor in the alien fleet. On the Dominator's bridge, alarms began to blare. "Ambassador," a crew member shouted, "we're detecting a massive energy field around the planet." Kroll-X's eyes widened in shock. "Impossible. These primitives shouldn't have this kind of technology." In that moment, Tsar X9 stepped forward. "Sir, I warned you about underestimating the humans. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach." But it was too late. Kroll-X, his pride wounded and his anger rising, gave the order to attack. "Fire all weapons. Crush these insolent humans." The Galactic Empire's ships opened fire, releasing a barrage of energy beams and missiles towards Earth. But as the weapons approached the planet, something extraordinary happened. The energy beams simply dissipated, while the missiles veered off course, becoming harmless. In the Hive, cheers erupted as they watched the alien attack fail. Sarah pumped her fist in the air. "It works. Project Phoenix is a success." General Stone allowed himself a small smile before turning serious again. "Excellent work, Dr. Chen, but this is just the beginning. Prepare for Phase 2. As the aliens reeled from their failed attack, humanity prepared to reveal the true extent of their technological leap. Project Phoenix wasn't just a shield. It was a sword, capable of striking back at the invaders. Sarah nodded at the general, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Phase 2 ready, sir. On your command, we can disable their entire fleet." Stone took a deep breath, fully aware of the historic moment at hand. Do it. With the press of a button, Earth struck back. The fate of humanity, and indeed the entire galaxy, was about to change forever. The tension in Earth's atmosphere was palpable as humanity prepared to launch its counterattack against the Galactic Empire. In the hive, Dr. Sarah Chen's fingers danced across her control panel, initiating the second phase of Project Phoenix. Targeting systems locked on the alien fleet, she announced, her voice steady despite the pressure. Ready on your command, General. General Marcus Stone stood tall, his weathered face set in grim determination. He looked around the room at the assembled world leaders and military personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that will define our species. Are we all in agreement? A chorus of affirmatives echoed through the chamber. President Rodriguez stepped forward, placing her hand on a large red button. For Earth, she said solemnly, and pressed down. In space, the effect was immediate and devastating. A wave of invisible energy pulsed out from Earth's defense network, washing over the alien ships. One by one, the mighty vessels of the Galactic Empire began to drift, their systems flickering and dying. Aboard the Dominator, chaos reigned. Alarms blared as systems failed across the ship. Ambassador Kroll X stumbled on the tilting bridge, his face a mask of disbelief and rage. "What's happening?" he roared. "Get our weapons back online." A panicked crew member turned to him, fear evident in his multiple eyes. "Sir, it's not just the weapons. We're losing life support, engines, everything." As the gravity generators failed, Kroll X found himself floating helplessly. In that moment, he locked eyes with Tsar X9, who managed to grab onto a console. "You were right," Kroll X admitted bitterly. "We underestimated them." Tsar X9 nodded grimly. "The question now is, what will they do to us?" Back on Earth, the mood in the hive had shifted from tense anticipation to cautious celebration. Cheers erupted as screens showed the alien fleet drifting powerless in orbit. Dr. Chen turned to General Stone, her eyes shining with triumph. "It worked even better than we hoped. Their entire fleet is disabled." Stone allowed himself a small smile. "Excellent work, Doctor. But remember, this is just the beginning. We need to press our advantage." President Rodriguez stepped up, her voice cutting through the celebratory noise. "Indeed, it's time for Phase 3. We need to show the Galactic Empire that humanity is not to be trifled with." As if on cue, a series of massive hangar doors began to open in various locations around the globe. From these secret facilities emerged Earth's own fleet of spaceships, reverse-engineered from crashed alien craft and enhanced with Project Phoenix technology. In orbit, the disabled alien ships could only watch as the Earth fleet rose to meet them. The human vessels, sleek and menacing, took up positions surrounding the invaders. General Stone's voice boomed over the comms to all Earth ships. "This is General Stone. You have your orders. Disable and board the alien vessels. Remember your training, and show them what humanity is capable of." As Earth's troops began their assault on the alien ships, Dr. Chen turned her attention to a different task. "General," she said, her voice tight with excitement, "I think I've cracked their faster-than-light communications. We can send a message to their home world." Stone's eyes widened at the implications. "Do it. Let's show the entire Galactic Empire what happens when they pick a fight with Earth." As boarding parties secured the Dominator, Tsar X9 found himself face to face with a human soldier. To his surprise, instead of a weapon, the human extended a hand. "We don't want to destroy you," the soldier said, "but we will not be enslaved. Tell your leaders, Earth is not a planet to be conquered. We are here to join the galactic community as equals, or not at all." Tsar X9 took the offered hand, a mix of fear and admiration in his eyes. As he was led away, he couldn't help but think that the galaxy would never be the same after this day. In the hive, as reports of successful captures poured in, President Rodriguez turned to her fellow leaders. "Today we've defended our planet. Tomorrow, we take our place among the stars. The first strike had been delivered, and humanity had emerged victorious. But the war was far from over, and the greatest challenges still lay ahead. The stars blurred into streaks of light as Earth's newly assembled fleet jumped into faster-than-light travel. At the helm of the flagship, christened Phoenix Rising, stood Admiral Jane Harper, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of hyperspace before her. "Status report," she barked, her voice steady despite the tension thrumming through the bridge. A young officer responded promptly. "All systems nominal. Admiral, the captured alien navigational data is holding up. We should reach the Empire's nearest outpost in approximately 12 hours. Admiral Harper nodded, a grim smile playing on her lips. "Good. It's time we took the fight to them." Meanwhile, light years away on the Galactic Empire's capital world of Zor Prime, panic was spreading through the Imperial Palace. Emperor Xorkraz's tentacles writhed in agitation as he received the shocking news of Earth's victory. "Impossible," he roared, his multiple eyes flashing with rage. "How could these primitives defeat our fleet?" Commander Zar X9, recently promoted for his insights about the humans, stepped forward cautiously. "Your Highness, I warned that we were underestimating them. Their technological progress is unprecedented." The Emperor's gaze fixed on Zar X9, a dangerous glint in his eyes. "Then you, Commander, will be responsible for stopping them. Take our reserve fleet and crush these upstart humans." As Zar X9 bowed and hurried to carry out his orders, he couldn't shake a feeling of dread. He had seen firsthand what the humans were capable of, and he feared that even the Empire's mighty reserve fleet might not be enough. Back on Earth, in the bustling command center of the Hive, Dr. Sarah Chen worked tirelessly to unlock more secrets from the captured alien technology. General Stone watched over her shoulder, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Any breakthroughs, Doctor?" he asked. Sarah's eyes lit up with excitement. "Yes, actually. I think I've found a way to enhance our quantum entanglement disruptors. If this works, we could potentially disable ships from even greater distances." Stone's eyes widened at the implications. "That could change everything. How soon can we implement it?" "I've already sent the update to Admiral Harper's fleet," Sarah replied with a grin. "They'll be testing it in real time." As Earth's fleet dropped out of hyperspace near the Imperial outpost, they were met with a sight that made even the battle-hardened Admiral Harper catch her breath. A massive space station hung in orbit around a rocky planet, surrounded by a defensive screen of Imperial warships. "They were expecting us," Harper muttered. Then, louder, "All ships, battle stations, prepare to engage." The space around the outpost lit up with weapons fire as the two fleets clashed. Earth ships darted and weaved with surprising agility, their advanced maneuvers catching the Imperial forces off guard. Aboard the Imperial command ship, Zar X9 watched the battle unfold with a mix of awe and terror. The humans were fighting with a ferocity and skill that seemed impossible for such a young spacefaring race. "Sir," one of his officers called out, panic evident in his voice, "our weapons are having no effect. Their shields are unlike anything we've ever seen." Zar X9 gritted his teeth. "Concentrate all fire on their flagship. We must take out their command structure." But even as he gave the order, he saw the human ships beginning to glow with an eerie blue light. Suddenly, system after system on his ship began to fail. On the Phoenix Rising, Admiral Harper allowed herself a small smile as she saw the new quantum disruptors taking effect. "Dr. Chen, you've outdone yourself," she murmured. With the Imperial fleet rapidly becoming disabled, Harper turned to her communications officer. "Send a message to their commander. Tell them we're willing to accept their surrender." As Zar X9 received the message, he closed his eyes in resignation. He had underestimated the humans one last time, and now the consequences would reshape the galaxy. The battle was over almost as quickly as it had begun. Earth's fleet had struck a decisive blow against the Galactic Empire, capturing a key outpost and proving beyond doubt that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. As news of the victory spread across Earth, celebrations erupted in cities worldwide. But in the hive, General Stone and Dr. Chen exchanged knowing looks. This was just the beginning, and the real challenge lay ahead: securing humanity's place in a vast and suddenly uncertain galaxy. The grand halls of the Imperial Palace on Zor Prime echoed with the thunderous voice of Emperor Xorkraz. His tentacles lashed out, smashing delicate alien artifacts as he raged against the latest reports. "Unacceptable," he roared. "These humans have taken 3 more of our outposts. Where is our mighty fleet?" High Admiral Vexcor, a tall, imposing figure with steel-gray skin, stepped forward. "Your Highness, we've assembled the largest armada in Imperial history. We will crush these upstart humans once and for all." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "See that you do, Admiral. Failure is not an option." As the massive Imperial fleet prepared for their assault, news of the impending attack reached Earth. In the hive, world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. President Rodriguez's face was grim as she addressed the assembly. "Our intelligence suggests that the Empire is launching an all-out assault. This could be the decisive battle of the war." General Stone nodded solemnly. "We've recalled all our fleets, but even with our technological advantage, we're outnumbered 10 to 1. The room fell silent, the weight of the situation heavy on everyone's shoulders. Then, Dr. Sarah Chen stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement. "I think I have a solution," she said, her voice steady despite the tension. "We've been working on a new application of our quantum entanglement technology. If it works, we could disable their entire fleet in one stroke." Hope flickered across the faces of the assembled leaders. President Rodriguez leaned forward. "Explain, Doctor." As Sarah laid out her plan, a mix of awe and disbelief filled the room. It was audacious, potentially devastating, and their only hope of survival. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the 2 fleets faced each other in grim silence. The Imperial Armada stretched as far as the eye could see, a vast array of battleships and destroyers that blotted out the stars. Aboard the Phoenix Rising, Admiral Harper surveyed the enemy fleet, her jaw set in determination. "Well," she muttered, "they certainly didn't hold back." Her second-in-command, Captain Lee, swallowed hard. "Orders, Admiral." Harper's eyes never left the view screen. "We hold the line, Captain. Earth is counting on us." As the Imperial fleet launched its attack, space lit up with weapons fire. Earth's ships, though vastly outnumbered, fought with incredible skill and determination. Their advanced shields and weapons, reverse-engineered and improved from alien technology, allowed them to hold their own against the overwhelming force. On the Imperial flagship, High Admiral Vexcor watched the battle with growing frustration. "How are they still fighting? We should have crushed them by now." But even as he spoke, something strange began to happen. A ripple of blue energy began to spread from the center of the human fleet, expanding outward at an impossible speed. Back on Earth, in a specially constructed facility, Dr. Chen initiated the activation sequence for her new device. "Quantum field expanding," she reported, her voice tense. "Reaching critical mass in 3, 2, 1. The energy wave washed over the Imperial fleet. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, ship after ship began to lose power, their lights flickering and dying. Aboard the Imperial flagship, panic set in as systems failed across the ship. High Admiral Vexcor stared in disbelief as his mighty armada was reduced to drifting hulks. "Impossible," he whispered. In the aftermath of the battle, as Earth ships moved to secure the disabled Imperial fleet, the true scale of their victory became clear. In one stroke, they had neutralized the Empire's greatest weapon and changed the course of the war. News of the victory spread rapidly across the galaxy. On countless worlds, oppressed species looked to the stars with new hope. The seemingly invincible Galactic Empire had been defeated, and the name of Earth was on everyone's lips. As the dust settled, Admiral Harper received a transmission from Earth. President Rodriguez's face appeared on the screen, her expression a mix of relief and determination. "Excellent work, Admiral," she said. "But our job's not done. It's time to take the fight to the Empire's doorstep." Harper nodded, a fierce grin spreading across her face. "Understood, Madam President. We're ready to make history." The turning point had come, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The majestic spires of Zor Prime, once a symbol of the Galactic Empire's unquestioned dominance, now stood as a backdrop to an unprecedented event. In the Grand Plaza before the Imperial Palace, representatives from Earth stood face to face with Emperor Xorkraz and his council. President Emily Rodriguez, flanked by General Stone and Dr. Chen, faced the alien leader with quiet confidence. The journey here had been long and fraught with danger, but humanity had prevailed. Emperor Xorkraz, his tentacles subdued and his multiple eyes dulled with the weight of defeat, spoke first. "Humans of Earth," he intoned, his voice echoing across the plaza, "you have done the impossible. I underestimated you, and now we must face the consequences." President Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "We did not come here seeking vengeance or domination, Emperor. We came seeking peace and our rightful place among the stars." As she spoke, Dr. Chen activated a holographic display, showing the terms of the peace treaty they had drafted. The gathered alien diplomats murmured in surprise at the fairness of the conditions. "We propose an end to hostilities," Rodriguez continued, "and the beginning of a new era of cooperation. Earth will join the galactic community as an equal member, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails." The Emperor's eyes widened in surprise. He had expected harsh demands, perhaps even calls for his empire's dissolution. This was unexpected. From the crowd, Commander Zar X9 stepped forward. "Your Highness," he said, bowing slightly, "I have seen the humans' capabilities firsthand. Their offer is generous, and their potential as allies is immense. I urge you to consider it carefully." For a long moment, silence reigned in the plaza. Then, slowly, Emperor Xorkraz extended a tentacle towards President Rodriguez. "Very well," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "Let us forge this new path together." As the two leaders shook hands, or tentacle in hand, a cheer erupted from the assembled crowd. Aliens and humans alike celebrated the dawn of a new age. In the days that followed, news of the treaty spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes marveled at the story of Earth, the young planet that had stood up to the mighty Galactic Empire and emerged victorious. Back on Earth, the mood was one of jubilant celebration, tinged with cautious optimism. In the Hive, now transformed into a center for galactic diplomacy, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a group of eager young scientists from around the world. "The quantum entanglement technology that won us the war," she explained, her eyes shining with excitement, "is just the beginning. With access to the Empire's scientific knowledge, we're on the brink of discoveries that will revolutionize our understanding of the universe." Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, Admiral Harper watched from the bridge of the Phoenix Rising as ships from a dozen alien worlds arrived, carrying diplomats and traders eager to establish relations with humanity. "Who would have thought," she mused to Captain Lee, "that our first step into space would lead to all this?" Lee grinned. "It's like they say, Admiral. Humanity. Fuck yeah." As the galaxy adjusted to the new balance of power, Earth found itself at the center of a technological and cultural renaissance. The combination of human innovation and alien knowledge led to advancements that would have seemed like magic just a few years before. In recognition of humanity's unique spirit and capabilities, the galactic community bestowed upon them a new title, the Phoenix species. Like the mythical bird, humans had risen from the ashes of near defeat to soar to unprecedented heights. On the newly established Galactic Council, where Earth now held a seat of prominence, President Rodriguez addressed the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. "We stand at the dawn of a new era," she declared, her words broadcast across the stars. An era of cooperation, of discovery, of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Together, there's no challenge we cannot overcome, no frontier we cannot explore. As her words rang out, on planets across the galaxy, beings of all kinds looked to the stars with new hope and wonder. The story of Earth had shown them that anything was possible, that even the youngest of species could rise to greatness. The first war with humans had ended, but humanity's greatest adventures were just beginning. The galaxy would never be the same, and the future burned bright with possibility.